Hello! Welcome to Anime Mystics. I'm Roman, and tonight I am watching Carole and Tuesday, episode 8. So, last episode, they began their next step to make it big. So far, excuse me, I'm moving some stuff out of the way. So far, none of the ideas they've had have worked. They tried doing a music video, didn't work. They tried getting in with a DJ, that didn't work. They tried... Well, I mean, they did play at a small club, that worked a little bit. The 10 people that were there really enjoyed the show. But then they went to that festival that Gus was trying to get them into, and bombed. Mainly because they were playing the main stage, and the fans that were there were looking forward to a specific band that didn't come on right away. So, didn't work out for them. However, they did meet one of their idols, Crystal. So, that worked out a little bit. The next phase for Gus, his ideas, was to get them on one of those TV talent shows, like The Voice or American Idol. I forget what the name of this was. It was basically like American Idol. They had a huge line outside of the building where people were auditioning. Only 8 people get chosen out of this sea of people. And Tuesday got a little nervous. Carole brought up, "Are you okay being on TV since you're still technically a runaway?" And Gus ended up grabbing some sunglasses from this guy. Said he'd give them back, but did not give them back. And then she tried to pretend like she didn't speak English that well. Even kind of changing her name a little bit. I think she said her name was Monday or something. And they're like, it says Tuesday on the form. And she's like, oh, you know, some days I'm Wednesday, some days I'm Monday. They're like, whatever. Just let's just get ready. They didn't actually have them sing. Like, we didn't hear them sing this episode. So I don't know what song they chose. But we did find out a little bit more about Carole. She used to live at a refugee camp back at on Earth, and then came to Mars, where she has basically been on her own since. We know she stayed at an orphanage where nobody picked her. She's had no parents since, I guess, both of hers died, or, you know. But Tuesday, hearing all this and then realizing that she's here hiding her identity from her family, decides that she wants to be more like Carole. So she's decided not to wear the sunglasses anymore, not to hide who she is. She's just going to go out there and be herself. They also decided that instead of answering questions whenever they found out if they made it on the show or not, they were just going to do a special, like, handshake. And then they tried something, and this guy who was walking by, who I'm pretty sure was the same dude that was in the laundromat with them, came over and was like, what the heck is this? And then showed them something else, and they went with that. So when the you see, Gus came over. They did get paid for that show at the festival, though. Like 980, I think it's called Wulong. I don't know how much that is, but I'm just going to say dollars. $980. Although I'm pretty sure that might be less than dollars. I don't know. He said he'd hold on to it for them. And then when he came back, he said, "Okay, I got some good news and I got some bad news for you. What do you want to hear first?" And they both decided to go with the bad news, thinking that he was going to say that they did not get on the show. Instead, what he tells them is, your 980 Wulong just vanished. And they're like, "What do you mean vanished?" And he's like, "I thought it was a sure thing, but that's what happens. I don't think it was a horse race. I think it was a dog race. Something like that. It wasn't horses, but he betted on racing and lost it." The good news was that they made it onto the show, although Gus did not get to tell them. He was about to tell them the good news, and then Roddy ran in saying that he found out that they made it on the show. And they got super excited, and Gus is like, "I was just about to tell them that." So that's when the news, the news started showing up. Like the news reporters, they were at the door, and they're trying to ask him, what it felt like to get chosen to be on the show. And that's when Tuesday nudged Carole on the shoulder, and they did their handshake, confusing everybody. But yeah, they made it onto the show. Also, Angela is going to be on the show as well. I guess the guy that she's currently working with, I can't remember his name. Whatever his name is, pulled some strings and got her on the show as like I don't know if she's actually competing. The way it sounded was that she was actually going to be competing, but he made it sound more like she was on there just to perform. But her mom was kind of worried, like, what if you lose to somebody that's just an amateur? We also found out a little more about her. How her mom, I guess, used to be her dad, at least judging by the scene they did with her photo of him. And he is apparently very abusive, which is why she left home and is staying in her own place. She was telling him that she should come back and that she's been working on it and there wouldn't be any issues anymore. And Angela's like, "No, I'm going to stay on my own." And instead of trying to force her, she just says, "Well, whenever you want to, it's always open for you to come back." And then she left. I always want to say he, but it's a she right now, so she. So yeah, this is gonna be the first time they actually meet, if they run into each other in the show this episode. I wonder what they're gonna perform. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have them perform this episode, but I don't know what song they're gonna do. If it's gonna be a new one, they probably wrote a few new songs, so guess we'll hear a new song. Or if they'll do one of their older ones, like they tried to do during the festival with the laundry song. Anyway, let's get into this episode. Okay, move over a bit. So the video is going to be located over here, and the link to the reaction is going to be in the description down below. And we're going to start this episode in 3, 2, 1.